this just automatically recorded while I was still gathering myself. But anyway, welcome to another channel of It's Not Your Money. Hope you guys have been well. I know I haven't been posting in like a long time, but anyway, let's move. So if you guys are familiar with construction projects, you'll probably also be familiar with construction work permits. All right, I'm not going to go into too much detail with the permits. I'll just like highlight the concerns that I have as a consultant on the project team, QA specifically, and the challenges we face. Well, I've only been on 2 projects, but you know, this can be applied in all other projects as well, or the concerns can actually be shared amongst other projects as well. And I just feel we should just think about this and consider this in programming our works as a project team, and also just to be aware that there might be complications and challenges when it comes to, you know, start dates and completion dates and all of that, right? So like I was saying, there is a construction work permit that is required on a construction project with certain requirements. So not all construction projects will require a work permit, all right? But construction projects that are, for example, the construction period that's going to go on for 365 days and includes a more than 3,600 person days. Yeah, so both of those requirements need to be met in order for it to require a construction work permit. So we said the project period needs to then be more than 365 days, and then it needs to also include 3,600 hours of days. Hours. Yeah, all right. And then another thing is for the construction project value to be more than 60 million rand. I know they say project value, and that can be a bit confusing because in my view, or in my opinion, just a simplified opinion on what the difference of a construction value is, or construction sum versus a project sum, right? The construction sum would be the contractor's amount. That will be what he tenders on, his work. That's the sum. The value would be what you agree on at final account. So in the beginning, your construction sum and value will be the same, right, until we conclude the final account. This is more on provisional bill of quantity required projects, right, or applied projects, right, where your initial construction sum is not necessarily the construction value. So we're saying that there might be changes in between, but that's not what this video is about, right? So the difference between that and what a project value is, a project value is more the overall value of the project, meaning all other budgets that the contractor is not necessarily aware of, but it will be more from the client end, their reporting, us as QSs, assisting obviously the client with the financial reporting and management of the project. But yeah, so the project value will be like the overall professional fees, you know, like I said, all other contingencies, design development costs that you put aside, and all of that. Let's say the construction value of more than 60 million rand, then you know a permit is required, right? And also please be aware that this permit will take about 30 days. It could be earlier, but it's about 30 days from the time that you submit all the documentation, right? So it could take about 30 days. So just program that properly. The reason why I'm saying that construction permits can be a nightmare on a project is because in your programming, right, as a team, you'd like to see when you'd like to go out to tender, when you'd like to appoint the contractor, and when the project you'd like for it to end, and all of that, right? And you guys also know that at every stage there is a certain implication at every stage. So if we say the start date is this date, we handing over the site to the contractor on this date, then there are certain things that start kicking in. For example, if you're using the JBCC contract, you know that when you hand the site over, you are saying that the ownership of the site moves from the client to the contractor. All right, meaning now the security on site, everything now is on the contractor. And when we start counting the construction period, we start counting on that day that we've handed the site over. So in cases where you want to appoint the contractor, hand the site over, right, and you have not taken into account the construction work permit, that could potentially increase, not potentially, it will actually, yes, it will increase or add more days to your initially calculated construction period. So just be mindful of that. If you don't mind your construction period including the work permit, then I guess that's okay. But I think from experience, it's not ideal to have the construction work permit in as part of the program, because there's limited work that the contractor can do. Actually, he can't do anything legally. He shouldn't be doing anything until that permit is granted, until he has permission to actually work on that site. So now if you hand over the site, right, and you're still then going to start the application process for the construction work permit, and now the contractor's hands are tied, he can't really do any work, but you've handed the site over, he or she can claim, or will be eligible to claim, extension of time, because you've given him a partial site. You've given him a site, but he can't work, right? And his time related preliminaries are starting to count on that day that you've handed the site over. So just be aware of that. Rather program your construction period, right, to exclude the work permit, and then as soon as the client appoints the contractor, then the application process for the construction work permit can start. And then as soon as the work permit is granted, then you hand the site over, so that at least the contractor has the opportunity to have a full site available to him or her, and there won't be any extension of time claims because the site will be fully theirs. I'm specifically now referring, like I said, to the JBCC contract. I'm sure it works the same in all the other contracts, but yeah, you can obviously put in a whole lot of amendment clauses. Oh, there's a sun. I'm almost done. You can put in a whole lot of amendment clauses to try and get to an agreement with the contractor that, you know what, we'll hand the site over, but these will be the conditions of the site handover. But also, you don't want to be going too technical and amending a whole lot of clauses, and just rather hand the site over when the permit is available, when the permit is granted. Yeah, so just program that correctly as a team. Don't always assume that you will appoint, hand over the site, and then work just kicks in or goes on. I think that's why it's important to have a professional team that will advise the client, right, of all these nitty-gritties, and so that we can assist in coming up with a program that makes sense for everyone and will be fair on everyone, and we will not lose money or spend money unnecessarily on items that we could have avoided initially. I think I'm going around in circles. You guys get the picture. So construction work permit is a thing, and yes, it can get challenging on a project if you've not factored that in into your program. So yeah, just be careful, because I've experienced this on more than one occasion, and it's not a nice. My shirt is ironed. This is how it's supposed to look. Anyway, deviating again. So yeah, just really be careful of that construction work permit, and all the best with your project. Thank you.